I'm Chef Justin Sutherland. I'm on a mission to tell untold BIPOC stories in food. Now, it's a well-known fact that I love barbecue. And out of all the cuisines that I love to dabble in, I've found barbecue to be the most difficult to master. It takes time, it takes patience, it takes a good mentor. Now today, I'm gonna chop it up with Bryan Furman, a man that has not only mastered the art of barbecue, but the art of giving back. This is Taste the Culture.
I didn't come into barbecue because it was cool. And it's like, when you come in it to be cool, or you come in it for the money, you'll never get what you're trying to get out of it. And so, like, always looking out and blessing somebody else, that's what I always was taught. If I bless this man, if I got the power to be in Kingsford, if I got the power to be in the arena, I'm gonna pull you up with me.
Bryan Furman's barbecue skills are legendary, especially here in Atlanta. He works with professional sports teams, has national sponsorships, and teaches his craft around the country. But despite all that, he's the most humble guy you'll ever meet. He's busted his ass for years to get where he is, while never losing sight of what's important. Today, Bryan is prepping for a pop-up event at Second Self Beer Company here in Atlanta's West Side. And his friend and mentee, Big Perm of Zilla Pit Barbecue, came down from Nashville to help out.
Well, I call him Big Lil Bro.
Big Lil Bro.
You know, he's older than me, but I'm older than him in a certain aspect, but I'm still Lil Bro.
So obviously you've been working with Bryan for a while, and I mean, he's a master at his craft. What's it like, you know, being mentored or having a partnership with another black man in this position? There's not a lot of us out there, you know, from chefs to people, you know, really running empires like Bryan's doing. I mean, it's got to feel kind of good to be working with another black man like this.
Oh, man, no, it feels more... Good is a huge understatement. I can go to him, and if I have any questions as far as the business aspect, or even just cooking, no matter if I'm older or not, it's always something to learn.
We learn from each other.
Yeah, of course.
And instead of more of a mentorship, it's just like,
it's a synergy.
We empower each other.
It's a synergy. You guys are helping each other.
We really do.
Well,
and I'm gonna get you, because I gotta say it.
Here we go.
I gotta say it, serious. I tell them, like, dude, you don't understand how many people look at you and you don't know. How you impact people, you don't know. It's just because the individual that you are, the way you move, the way you interact with folks, the way you carry yourself, you got something for people that aspire to be like. They can say, if you can do it, why can't I do it?
Right. The number one thing I hear from young black cooks is that they don't have anyone who looks like them to look up to in the kitchen. So seeing these guys in action is awesome. Mentoring is about more than just teaching. It's about having someone who can empathize with your experience, and Bryan has been through a lot. His last critically acclaimed restaurant burnt down. So earlier today, he took me on a short trip to the future site of his newest project. All right, Bryan, you got me out here in an abandoned lot. You know, we've got this abandoned house. Tell me what we're doing here. What's your vision for this place?
Well, we're gonna demolish this house, build a South Carolina style rib shack.
Okay. You've got a huge plot of land here. Can you kind of help me envision what the new Bryan Furman barbecue is gonna look like?
Well, where we're standing here in the back, I wanna build a smokehouse. This usually will be the main centerpiece at a barbecue joint, is the smokehouse.
So you can kind of see the action from, you know, from the main dining room.
Yeah, when you pull up, the parking is facing the smokehouse.
Okay.
So you pull up to the smokehouse.
Right, like you're rolling up to a
you
barbecue.
Make them walk, you make them walk past it before they get to the front.
I love it, I love it.
Yeah, I want the style of a South Carolina rib shack, but I have brisket, whole hog, ribs, and chicken.
Nice, so you are gonna do whole hog.
Yeah, I'm gonna do whole hog.
That's my favorite.
I started out with whole hog.
Why this neighborhood? You know, a lot of people want to put their spots in the city or in, you know, in more bustling areas. So why'd you pick this neighborhood?
Well, the old location burnt down. That was right across the street. It was only right that I come back. I like to be in the community instead of like the hot corner, the hot spot. I like to make my own spot.
Bryan is ready to rebuild after facing adversity, and I'm ready for lunch. So everybody loves barbecue, but why did you choose to dedicate your life to barbecue?
I grew up where my grandparents had a pig farm. I grew up around barbecue, so I grew up eating and watching my dad cook.
Was that where you got your training? Because barbecue's not easy.
First thing was my dad, he taught me about fire control and building fires and shutting fires down at an early age. And learning about seasonings from my mom and being in the kitchen with her, making sides. And barbecue requires patience. I got a lot of patience.
One thing I did notice when I was looking at some of your merch and your shirts, I think it says something like, I don't cook for the judges, I cook for the people.
Yeah.
Right? What does that mean to you? Where did that slogan come from? What got you to that place?
I used to have so many barbecue judges would come in my restaurant and be like, this should be this way, this should be that way. And the first thing I do is be like, you're a judge. And they'd be like, how you know? I was like, I have a question. Like, if I was to put my peach mustard barbecue sauce in a box,
Right.
would you pick me? I remember the lady telling me one day, she was like, nah. I said, why? She said, because it's not bluegrass sauce. She was like, the sauce is good, but in competition barbecue, you can't use it. And most of the barbecue judges anyway, they can't even cook barbecue. So it's like a class they go to and they can't even start a fire. So I just don't like,
I'm with you. I didn't do competition barbecue either. I saw that on your shirt and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Your first location burnt down.
Uh-huh.
The new Bryan Furman is yet to come. We're sitting on the site of future greatness. But what did you do in between the time that it burnt down until you're waiting for this?
Did pop-ups. In this industry that we're in, it's kind of like you have to be able to adapt. When it happened to me, it was like, boom, do pop-ups.
Right.
I did a lecture at Harvard.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
It was thermodynamics of barbecue. It was an honor. I was actually taking my daughter on vacation, and I got a DM, and I'm like, Harvard? I'm like, whoa.
Bryan's Harvard lecture shows just how much he values education. I'm a bit of a student of barbecue myself, so once back at Second Self, I'm dying to dig deeper into Bryan's barbecue expertise. Still, you can't have a real talk about barbecue without confronting some unsavory history. So I really talk about, that cultural issue when it surrounds barbecue, but it really started in the Caribbean. They called pirates buccaneers because the apparatus that they would smoke meat on was called a boucan. And the original pirates of the Caribbean, who were not white people, started the invention of smoking meat and that barbecue culture. Now it feels like it's become commercialized, it's become competition. So I'm just wondering if you have any feelings surrounding where barbecue culture is going, where it came from, and how you hold your place in it.
I feel like I never want to be a pitmaster, called a pitmaster, because you think about all the old white-owned joints, they would have their name and they were labeled a pitmaster, but it was a black guy in the kitchen cooking.
100%.
Prime example is a soul food restaurant. They have a white owner,
Right.
but they have black people in the kitchen cooking.
Right.
But the owner is getting the credit
It's
for
like
it.
the Uncle Nearest story.
So to me, that's why I kind of like didn't even want to be called a pitmaster. I took that name after somebody was like, hey, you in media, you need to use that as a label. But I mean, I just felt like that only just doesn't happen in barbecue. That happens in a lot
100%.
of things in America. I try not to get too caught up in that,
Right.
and just leave my footprint. And
Right. Do you.
Do me, yeah.
Do you. Without giving out too many secrets, tell me about your spice blend. I'm gonna take notes.
All right, so this is this is my 1432 barbecue rub.
Okay.
It's basically a seasoned salt blend
Yep.
that I use on chicken, pork. With brisket, I just use salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper. Pretend like I was a barbecue novice. How would you teach me how to season these ribs?
Dirty work
Dirty
first.
work first. I was
Dirty
gonna
work
say.
first.
Yep.
So you'll be unpackaging and peeling the skin off the back, and then actually not me, but my son will teach you how to season. So he's the one who trained everybody how to season the meat at the restaurant. Safe to say, Bryan's mentorship is paying dividends already, and he's not just passing on cooking skills. He's creating a legacy that will stand the test of time.
This is literally my favorite smell in the world. Like if we can make you could bottle this and make a cologne out of it. Is that some mac and cheese in there too?
Yep.
The apple cider?
Yeah.
I will say, Bryan, man, it's beautiful to watch you work, man. From cleaning and seasoning the meat to the way that you rotate it to those smells, man. I really appreciate being here with you, brother.
I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Spending today with Bryan Furman has been incredible. I mean, his story, his perseverance, he's just really grounded in his community. He cares a lot about his craft, but for me, more importantly, he cares a lot about sharing his knowledge with others. And watching how Bryan and Big Perm work together, it's actually incredible.
It's hard being a leader when people look up to you and you don't have many people to look up to. But then you see Bryan, he's like, man, you got this. What you waiting on? And he's pushing you, but he's pushing you in the right way. When you got somebody doing that, there is no limitations that you can set upon yourself. He invested time in me when he didn't have to. He got more than enough stuff he can be doing besides, okay, look, I see this guy over here, you know, he got a little trailer. And when I met Bryan, I didn't have this trailer. I had a little 4x8 utility trailer. And he saw like, okay, I see the hustle in you. Now prove me right. He ain't said prove me right. He like, let me see in your actions that you gonna prove me right. And by my actions, I'm like, if he got enough gall to sit there and take his time and invest in me, that's the least I can do. For real, that's the least I can do.
I know we talk about barbecue takes patience, but I cannot wait to eat this, man. You feeling good?
Oh yeah, I'm feeling great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Ready to feed some people? Or me? You ready? I'm ready to eat. Forget them, I'm ready to eat.
And Perm got his brisket on the inside.
Perm's in there, he's got the brisket?
Perm's in there slicing brisket.
All right.
So we're known for our brisket in Nashville, and we're one of the few food trucks that offer a really, really good brisket.
I mean, you should have some too.
Oh, yeah.
Woo, boy. You got some really, really nice juiciness.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that you use like the coarse ground black pepper. Those granules just almost caramelize on top of there to make this beautiful bark. Man, you know how to cook the brisket. I mean, I didn't think you didn't, but that is delicious.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying, bro.
Big Perm's brisket is ready. And Bryan's ribs and chicken are coming in hot.
Smoked bird coming in.
Oh, man. Look at that.
That is freaking gorgeous.
Wow. Rib.
We're gonna taste some of this. Don't tell him. I'm taking one. Ooh, I can do some ribs.
Oh, yeah. That's a bad man.
Chicken is one of the more difficult things to smoke. I mean, everybody knows breast, the white meat can dry out no matter how you cook it. Wow. It's super simple. I mean, it's literally one of the best smoked chickens I've had. It's not overly smoked, it's not overly seasoned, but just executed perfectly. And that only comes from a man who's been doing this for a very, very long time, and he definitely knows what he's doing when it comes to barbecue.
It's nearly showtime, and Bryan's definitely lived up to his word that he cooks for the people. As exciting as it is to see Atlanta show up to taste Bryan's food, what makes him so successful isn't just a mastery of barbecue. It's his generosity and the way he's carved a path not just for himself, but for others to follow in his footsteps. In a tough and sometimes unforgiving industry, having someone like Bryan in your corner is a powerful thing.
Being a business owner, period, being a black entrepreneur is never easy anywhere. Is there any, opposition that's happened in your path from doing barbecue with your family on the hog farm to where you are today?
Only thing I ever get is most people think I have investors.
Right.
I think everybody thinks like you can't own something. You know what I'm saying? That's why I changed my logo to my face, because my logo used to be a pig. When somebody come to my restaurant, before they pull in the parking lot, I want them to know it's a black-owned establishment.
Yep.
Doing that was probably the smartest move I made.
I love your reasoning behind putting your face as the logo. I mean, because, when I opened my first restaurant and before I was known, there's countless times where people would come in, and come to me and be like, I want to talk to the owner.
Yeah.
Be like, no, yeah, I am the owner. They're like, no, who's really the owner? Like, it's that. So,
Yeah.
it's their ignorance, but also, you can just smile.
I get my barbecue's not good because I'm not fat. Like,
Shit.
skinny
Can we
kid cooking food.
high five on that? Skinny motherfucking cook.
Yes, they can. And they can eat too.
I'm gonna get on this rib because I'm a rib guy. And this is the one that the competition said you can't do.
Yeah.
You get like that vinegar and a little bit of the heat from this Carolina and a little sweetness from that peach. You can tell they're using good quality meat. And then your spice rub, I think, is damn near perfect. It almost cures the meat like you were talking about. It sits in that smoker. It's getting cured by the smoke. It's getting cured by the salt. And then just that heat slowly cooks it. So, speaking of smoke, I'm gonna have to get in on this smoked mac and cheese. That's fantastic.
Not too smoky either.
It's not too smoky. It's really, really subtle.
Yep.
You know how black people are about their mac and cheese. you can't just bring mac and cheese to anybody's barbecue, but Bryan can bring his. And then these beans, so you take what, just the brisket scraps?
I trim all the fat and I'll render it.
Damn.
Yeah, the beans really were that good.
I like the fatty part.
Yes, I mean, it was amazing meeting Perm. I mean, that dude, he's equally as passionate as you. I mean, that's got to feel real good for you. And the fact that you still get to learn from him at the same time.
Like I said, man, I just believe in passing down, you know, and that's the legacy I want to leave.
Yep.
Giving that advice, giving that free advice, like, it doesn't cost me anything. I'm hindering somebody else.
Right.
From generational and just from a person off the street that I don't even know. I'm gonna give them the same advice.
Right. You're definitely leaving a legacy, man.
I appreciate that. Most parents don't tell their kids, but their kids should do better than the parent.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt like I started my business at 32. My son been in here with me since he's been 12.
Right.
He should kill what I've done. Like, he
100%.
should crush what I've done. We just did the film festival and he cooked the ribs for
And
it.
now he's invested in the company.
Exactly.
You said like when you do some mentorship and training and stuff, like he's the seasoning master now.
Yeah,
Like,
he trains everybody.
Yeah.
He trains everybody. And my 12-year-old daughter, she's the same way. Been making salsa since she's been 4 in the restaurant.
Yep.
I have bartenders or I have people in there doing stuff and she'll be like, "You doing that wrong."
As she
And
should.
And they be looking at her like, "What you know?" And she'll go over there and she'll be like, boom, 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 boom. That's how you do it.
I love it.
So
I love it.
I mean, just showing them, the ropes.
Family business, and I
Yeah.
mean it goes right back to one of your goals is creating generational wealth and having something to pass down for your kids, and 100% having them be better than you were.
Exactly.
So that's amazing, man. I just nothing but pride and admiration for you, man. So I appreciate you sharing this with me.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, can we give it up for Bryan and this barbecue? Is this not absolutely phenomenal? Let's go! Woo! Woo! I mean, brother.
In the end, a guy like Bryan reminds us that there's no glory in hoarding knowledge, no prize for keeping secrets. When you give love, you get love back.